Okay, what we're doing today is my annual service that I do on this Bentley Arnage green label. Alan in New Zealand was sort of interested in me doing the odd vlog because he has the Rolls-Royce version with the V12 engine, which is pretty much the same. This is a 4.4 Cosworth, which means a lot of the parts are specialised because they're made by Cosworth Engineering. But the V12 is a standard Beamer, so all the parts are much cheaper, generally speaking. But just like this car, he shares the same filtration systems and uses the same amount of oil, and I thought I'd just go over it because you could save yourself £1,000. You don't need to take these things into a specialist Rolls-Royce dealer. It's just another old car. So I decided to take this bottom cover off this time so I could just have a look up underneath, check the wiring and everything, and I thought it was an opportunity to show you what to look for when you take these cars to people that aren't very good at it. They might say they're Rolls-Royce Bentley specialists, but they certainly weren't very good in my opinion. This car's been looked after by that specialist, and if you have a history from that sort of person, it's as good as worthless in my view as an ex-Rolls-Royce Aero Division person. So I thought I'd show you the bottom tray. It's very easy to remove. You don't have to jack up. You can just get under. There's just two screws at the back end. It fits that way round. Actually, it fits that way round. And when I got the car, it's got little rubber connectors. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very straightforward they are. You just they're just little rubber devices. You just unscrew the center section with a screwdriver and then you can just prise them all out. As I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then at the back you've got 2 screws. Piece of cake. Now this one, when I got it, these screws were missing, so they either didn't bother to put them back or they just put them in hand tight, because when I got this it was hanging down and of course it had been hit on a, well, whatever, speed bump, anything, so I had to repair it. So that's the repair with Isopon, to just sort of tidy it, and this is pop riveted section of aluminium to really make a strong job, because as you can see they made a real mess of it. Anyway, taking this off allows you to just have a look underneath and check bits and pieces, check the wiring, check the connections. You don't actually need to take this off to change the oil, because that indent there allows you to get into the oil drain plug. So we put that away and move on. This is the drain plug, and it'd be the same for the V12 as this one, both BMWs. As you can see, it's very thin, so you need a really good socket, and I I ground this one so it was level at the front to give the absolute maximum purchase. So you can just free it off with a 17mm socket, and then it's got a rather nice feature. You can just put a Allen key in there and you can whiz it out, no problem. And you need quite a big tray because there's a couple of gallons of oil to drain out. And here's the oil filter, a new one in position. You just push it into the plastic top. I like to use Borg and Beck. I've always used Borg and Beck for all sorts, discs, clutch plates, all sorts over the years. And with this one you get a nice new O-ring, which is here, as you can see, fitted in that groove. That's a nice new one. And they also give you a new copper washer, which is annealed, so it will do the job. So it's a piece of cake to remove. All you do is just unscrew that. You don't even need anything will do for that, and an adjustable spanner. But when you take it out, pull it up straight so you don't drop oil everywhere, but try and get as much oil as you can into a container, because that will save you a bit of work later on. Because, why doesn't that stand up? Because I haven't got it in the right place. That's where the oil filter sits, down there. See if I can put a light down there. And it stays full up, so you have to drain the last bit out. Probably lots of garages don't bother, but of course if you're pernickety like me, you want all of the old oil out. Richard in around the corner, my mate in the garage, he's got a device, a flask that he can depressurize, and he sucks all the oil out. He does a good job on all his cars. But I don't have that, but I just use this little length of pipe. So you just pop it in, suck it up, and then, obviously you don't suck it into your mouth. Tuck it to about there, squeeze it out into a container, and then when you've got all the oil out that you can, get clean kitchen towels and just swab out the last of it. And you can see it's all nice and clean, no signs of any bits of paper or anything down there. So remember to half fill this before you put the element back in, because you want to minimize the amount of time that the system is without oil. Well, it won't be without oil, but you just want to minimize the time for the air to be expelled through the system, through the breather system. So it's just a case of popping that in. It couldn't be easier, could it? There you go. Pop it in, screw up, not too tight because that is plastic, but how simple is that? This is easy to remove. You don't have to take the bottom cover off, which you do on a lot of cars. Piece of cake to change that filter. I use always have used Castrol, and if you look on that can, it says at the bottom findcaroil.com, and if you, for any car, you can just go to that website and it will tell you what Castrol recommend, because these cars are, it's an old car, so oils have improved, and they recommend Magnatech, and that's what I've always used. And you do need 9 litres. you need a couple of gallons, exactly the same amount for the V12 as this V8. So that's what I use, Castrol Magnatech. That was £30 for 4 litres delivered. So if you go to a Rolls-Royce garage, they'll probably charge you £60 for 4 litres, because they will. They'll change stuff that doesn't need changing, and you can do all these things for yourself because it's a piece of cake. Having done the oil, which is pretty straightforward, there's the dipstick, and there's the device to keep the oil in, and there's the timing chains, all lovely and clean. If you can, you probably can't see, but I can assure you it's beautifully clean in there. Timing chains are nice and firm, no slack on the sprockets. No need to take that cover off for this service. I mean, I do take it off occasionally to just check what's going on. These are ordinary screws, but it was completely buggered up by the so-called service agent, and I had to refit these screws do a little bit of repair where they'd not bother to take any trouble over refitting it. So the next thing you need to do is change the heating system filters. Now this is probably the most important one, and this lives inside the car, and where the heater is in the center, you have to go down into the well and look upwards, and you'll see this little person. You'll see it like that, or most of it, and it's dead easy to do. It's got a lip on the bottom. Can you see a little lip where it clips? Those two pegs push up and then it clips in. So all you have to do is get a flat blade screwdriver under that part, just flick it and it will come good. Now these are, you can easily clean these, but you have to be sure that around the outside at the back you can see there's a seal, and that does actually need to be in good condition, and if it wasn't then I'd replace it. But you don't need to replace these for no reason. All you have to do is take that out and wash it in soapy water, drain it through and dry it, and the job is done. This can only go back in one way, so you can't get that wrong. You just pop that back in, clip it in, get underneath in the well, in the footwell, pop that up so those two pegs go in, and then job done. So that's going to cost you nothing. A lot of Rolls-Royce agents in dusty areas will change those twice a year. So that's the easy way, no problems there. All you have to do is just make sure that seal at the back is in reasonably good condition. Then you've got the main filters, the pollen filters they call them, and when you get to these you're going to find all sorts of bodgery, depending on the type of people that have done the work. And now they live just over here. If I can come around, a piece of cake to remove the screws. There you are. That fits down into that slot where the heater is, where the heater pipes are. The filter, I just check it over because this is not dusty, this area. UK isn't dusty generally, and you don't need to change them all the time. What they will change them annually for a Rolls-Royce service, but then they change everything and you just pay. When you buy them you get the filter, and you also get this seal. Now this seal isn't too bad. It's been a little bit butchered on the corner. It's a sticky seal, so that it actually glues to the filter. And as I say, you're going to find bodgery here because it does take a little while to get them out, and if you're of an impatient disposition, they just yank them out. And this one has been slightly damaged, as you can see here, and I've repaired it as best I can. So that's been arrowdited in position and clamped, and it should be in good nick now. And when I put it back in, I'll put a little smear of Vaseline around it so that it slides in. I got the airline out and just gave it a very gentle blow over, just to get any sort of rubbish out. Obviously you do that outside, but this one's in perfectly good condition. It doesn't need changing. As I say, I don't do many miles and there's no dust in this area. If it was a dusty area, then you would need to be checking these. When you're taking them out, you take the two screws out, one there and one there, and just very gently ease it up. And if it's difficult, don't be pulling it violently. Just take your time and gently ease it one side to the other. Ease it through and it will come out. There's no need for all this damage. I mean, that's shocking. Anyway, it's done and it's ready to put back in. So I'll pop that back in over there. I'm going to put a little bit of Vaseline around the